Hello and welcome once again to the Dwarven Tavern. I am your host Lyric, and I'm going to be doing another beginner's video. This time it's going to be about what is a DM. Now, I covered what is a player in a previous video, and this one's a little more complex, so I hope that I can get through it as quickly as I did with the player. The player was pretty much self-explanatory. The DM is a little more in-depth. Like, a lot of people think that the DM might be called the god of the game. He or she is usually in charge of how the game is going to be played. So, what is the best way to describe what a DM is? Well, I have my handy-dandy Dungeon Master's Guide. It's here to help explain exactly what it is. So, in the Dungeon Master's Guide, the DM definition is dungeon mastering involves writing, teaching, acting, refereeing, arbitrating, and facilitating. Described below are the different duties of the DM. You'll find that you'll like some of these more than others. As in any hobby, focus on what you enjoy the most, but remember that other duties are also important. And these duties are providing adventures, teaching the game, providing the world, educating, propelling the game ever forward, blah blah blah. So what basically the DM is not the god of the game. The DM is the game itself. The DM is in charge of providing the world around the players. The DM is in charge of explaining the different aspects of these games. For example, I am the DM of this video. And the DM is also there to help facilitate conversation and to keep the game ever flowing and ever pushing forward and ever onward we go is the DM's job. So the DM is not the one that is overlording over the entire thing. For example, it is not an over-the-top simulator of the game. It's not a Sims game. You are not the player of a Sims game. Your characters are not your Sims. What it is the DM is the world around you, and as Tavern Jeff likes to put it, the DM is your senses, while you, the player, is the will. So you are the one that controls what your character is doing, as mentioned in the player's video, while the DM is the one that tells you, you see this, you are surrounded by this, you are being attacked by this. And even though the DM is the one controlling all of these things, more often than not, the dice are the ones that control the actions of the characters that he's putting up against you, or even putting up with you, the ones that are, you know, at your side to help you defend the walls of the castle from the invading blah blah blah. I don't know, choose your race, there you go. So these are what you should be angry at when your familiar dies, or these are what you should take it out on when, say, your character fumbles that final breath and you die drowning something, or die drowning in something. If you die drowning something or someone else, then I'm sorry, but that's your own fault. You're straining yourself way too much. So the DM, even though he's there providing these characters and these situations for you, it's not his fault if your dice decide to kill you, or if fate has it that this just didn't turn out in your favor. So you shouldn't be blaming the DM especially if something bad happens. The DM is not out to get you. If you think the DM is out to get you, then maybe you need to take a step back and learn from your own gaming experience. Learn from your own personality, your own attitude. Like, maybe it's something that you're doing. And if if you feel like you're fine, or if the world around you is, fine, it's like fine. Like, okay, for example, you're a paladin, you're doing all this paladinic stuff, but your friends keep dying or volcanoes go off when you're around, then maybe it's the DM picking on you. And maybe that needs to be talked about outside a game. Especially needs to be talked outside a game if the DM is actually if the DM doesn't actually like you. It's very important that you don't let the quarrels of the players happen in-game. So the DM is not at fault, and if you think that they are at fault, you need to talk to them about it personally, away from the game, so that conflicts are resolved, so that you don't affect the other players. If it's a solo campaign, and the DM is totally picking on you, I mean, just stop the game, break character, and talk to your DM, and ask them, hey, dude, what did I do to piss you off so bad that you're taking it out on my character? Because this ain't cool, and we ain't gaming until we figure this out. You can use my exact words if you need to, because I have been in a situation where my characters, my players don't they don't get into character enough to let the world of gaming take over their players, take over the characters. So it's very important that you talk to your DM if they are falling victim to this. Now the DM has a lot of preparation to do. They usually have to write out the story and make all these new characters, and they usually have to roll all of these dice behind a screen, like this one. Let me get it for you real quick. They usually have to roll dice behind these screens. This is Josh's Pathfinder screen. So that's, you don't see their rolls, and they have all this information too. Like, this is a pretty generic Dungeon Master screen, but they usually, oops, I folded that the wrong way. They usually do a lot of information that are behind the scenes, and they usually don't get credit for. So a DM has to put in a lot of work for the game, and it's very important to appreciate your DM. Do not take advantage of them, and know that they are doing their best to make the gaming experience a pleasant experience. And if they're not, if they are being jerkwads, then confront them outside of game. Do not make the game a muddled mess, because that'll just make your hatred for the current situation turn into hatred for the game, and no one wants that. So, and then, you know, finally, the DMs, they're the ones that are supposed to make sure that conflicts between players do not affect the game. So if the DM is not the one that's causing the problems, if it's, you know, player against player and they're using their characters to duke it out, potentially it might be the DM's job to say, okay, we're stopping gaming because you guys are being dicks to each other, and I can't do this, so we're going to take a 5-minute break. If you guys want to take a step outside while I, you know, figure out the next plot point, go ahead, because I'm not playing like this. Then, you know, the DM will do that. I haven't been in a game that has had that, but I can totally see that happening. So the DM, all in all, is not the god. The DM is the world around you, and the DM is very much like the Force, I guess you could say. He's very much like fate and the motion of chi going through the whole world. They are the ones that say this happens, and it's your duty as the player to interact with what the DM is providing for you. So just think of it as the DM, whether the player that was there or not, the DM would have had this situation happen in this world. The DM, okay, basically the DM is being changed by the player, just like the character would change the world. So keep that in mind. Once again, the DM is not God. The DM might be in charge of the surroundings that you're in. He might be painting the picture that you're seeing, but he is not the Lord that you worship. He is not the gods that you follow. That's the gods that you follow. So, like, if you're gonna say, for example, if you're a paladin and you worship Paylor, and you have to roll to Paylor every time you're rolling to make sure that you get a critical, you're not rolling to the DM to get that critical. You're rolling to Paylor. So make the distinction very clear. On that note, if you have any questions or comments or concerns or any of those things, or you want to share your opinion about your negative or positive experiences with a DM or with a GM, because this is including them too, please comment below. I'm very interested to hear about them, and we always do appreciate the feedback of our fans and followers. We do like to hear what you guys have going on in your life, so please comment below. We are very interested. Please check us out on www.dwarventavern.net. And if it's currently not up, we apologize. We had some trolls rampaging through our tavern, and we're still picking up the mess. So please excuse us for that. And on behalf of the entire cast and crew of the Dwarven Tavern, I am your DM, Lyric, and we wish for you to want for nothing but adventure that I hope to provide for you. And at first I feared it. At first I feared being a DM. Then I charged it like a motherfucker. So thank you guys for always watching and always playing with us and always participating just by, giving us the views. We do appreciate it. And we hope to see you in the next session.